Well, what I was saying before I started recording was I'm trying to I need to cut off a couple of feet off the sound booth before I bring it in here, because otherwise it's going to be too tall. So that's something we're gonna have to work with. Okay. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode here on the Bodybuilding News Network. Another installment of the Women's Physique
Report.
God, I keep wanting to say talk show. Report makes sense. I don't know why I keep saying talk show. Report.
That's just too long.
Yeah, it is. It's a very long title. Hosted by myself and IFBB Pro Danielle Willis. And we have a phenomenal guest coming on in just a second. But before we get into that, Danielle, how was your week?
Very good. Been keeping very busy. The season is upon us, full swing. So I am actually working with a couple competitors, getting them ready for their competition season. And I am also happy to announce that I'm going to be joining performance posing, and I will be the coach for women's bodybuilding and women's physique for posing. I'm really excited. I'm a dancer.
Yes, absolutely.
You know that I teach too. So for me, just stepping into this role, helping others put together their creative pieces, and of course be able to compete, because again, we know competitors, posing is everything. So I'm really excited that I have the opportunity to do something like this and be a part of others' journeys as they go about their way competing. So, and yes. I know how important it is, especially at the amateur level, to have someone helping you know exactly what you need to do so that you are fully prepared for when you do get your pro card. Have to get on stage with those pros. And again, let me tell you, I had my ass handed to me when I stepped on the pro stage, because I was not up to par posing wise. I can admit that.
To be fair, you did win a pro show.
I did, but I'm saying my pro debut.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So I'm saying the transition, right? The transition that I had to make from making my pro debut, from being an amateur to making my pro debut, let alone from my pro debut to winning a pro show. Oh my goodness. That was, I'll let you know, like night and day. Again, I'm not afraid to say, hey, I sucked, or I need to improve, or, I think that is what makes a good athlete or a good anything, right? Anyone. If you're able to look at yourself and say, I need to step it up, look at your own weaknesses. And to me, that is what you need to be able to do in bodybuilding. So again, assessing those weak points, and you find that out with the posing. Posing like does everything. It really does. It can let you know where you're at in your journey.
I mean, we're all good about pointing out the bad stuff. It's really difficult for us to point out the good stuff. So also,
I guess, so I guess I'm not so alone in this. Okay.
Yes.
I'm like, maybe sometimes I think it's just me, but okay, cool.
Yes. We are all our best critique and our worst fan.
Yes.
And that's something we need to work on. Everyone.
Yes, that is something we need to work on. But again, it is okay to have some kind of, which again, I know I'm working on. You guys can hold me accountable, BNN fam, to have that healthy kind of boundary of assessing yourself and knowing when you need to improve. And then again, knowing when you did a good job.
Right.
So going back to the posing, for me, that was one of the most important things that I worked on when it came to the Olympia. I mean, hands down, because I looked at my other videos from past shows, even though it hasn't been a lot, it was enough to tell me you need to step it up.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that I did. And I'm glad that I've gotten to this place now where I feel comfortable helping someone else.
Yes.
So, and to me, that's what it's all about, right? Giving, serving, paying.
Mm-hmm. Serve it. Yep. Selfless service, sacrifice.
Yes. So, and then just training is going well. I feel good. My weight is going up. So good news.
All right.
all good news. And I think that where we're at, my coaches are happy. I'm very happy. I believe that I'm making the necessary changes already that I know I needed to make, that I was told I should make.
Okay.
So I'm happy about that.
Good. You should be.
So I think that's pretty much it. I'm very happy to just be adding new things to my repertoire. And again, I'm very passionate about this community and being able to help in any capacity, here at BNN, or, helping with the posing, whatever it is that I'm able to do. It's awesome. It's like,
well,
there's
we
more to
love
see.
having you here.
Yes. But it goes to show that, again, there's more than just the stage. You can
Yes.
still, and I'm saying this for anyone watching, right? This is, you can have other things that will keep you connected to the community, and you don't have to do a show every year.
Mm-hmm.
You have to burn yourself out trying to compete all the time and believe that that is what it's all about.
Yeah. That's not the only part of bodybuilding.
Right.
There's so much more. There's so many more facets to, our community, our family within bodybuilding. So it's important to think about that when you're thinking about, okay, do I need to get on stage again this year? Or did I make improvements enough to, be more competitive? Or, am I in line with what my coach wants me to do? I mean, there's so many questions you need to ask yourself instead of just being like, oh, well, it's this time of the year. Let's go ahead and do my local regional show because it's just something I do.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to have Andrea Sawyer come on because
she is biting at the bit right now. She's ready to go.
I know, she just let me know I'm here. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know, girl, we'll let you in. But
she's like the person like tapping on the window, just like, guys.
That's what I love about her, because she's got a heart of gold, but she's got a lot of fire. And she's a woman like myself that represents, the multifaceted bodybuilder, the bodybuilder that doesn't just do the competing. She's trained, she does some of the entertaining as well. And, she has her own following and niche, and she's created a platform. And she feels comfortable talking and wants to talk a little bit about it. And I told her that we will give her that space to talk about it, because it is a part of the bodybuilding culture, especially pertaining to women's bodybuilders. There are some that do choose to, again, utilize their talents in other ways,
Of course.
modeling. And again, I'm not going to give away what Andrea specializes in, but again, it's all very unique to our world. And I feel like I'd be remiss if I did not allow the ladies that do come on, I want to come on and promote themselves in all capacities that they feel comfortable with, give them that space to do so. So again, I'm very excited to have Andrea on. I've known Andrea for many years. We have not actually competed on stage together, but we do have mutual respect for one another, being that we both do entertaining, modeling, and we're just multifaceted people. So she's logging on right now. She's ready to go. She's even early. Like my girl is early. So, and I'm excited too, because, you know, we're going to talk to her, and she hasn't been on stage in like 2 years. So she's
2 years. Okay.
just about 2 years, and she's already ready for Vancouver, and then she's got New York on the mind. And so she's really in game mode this year, and she's made a lot of improvements. So says we're still having her connect to audio. I don't see her either.
Yeah, she'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'm sure she will.
Yeah, I'm interested to see, you know, like you know, what the strategy was taking those 2 years off, and you know, was that more of like her building the brand, you know, off stage, or was it more of like building the physique, or a combination of both?
Right. And again, it goes to show the ladies that choose to take that time off, that it's okay. You can take it off and use that time to still insert yourself in the community, because she also has clients. She has Andrea's athletes.
Oh,
She'll probably talk about that as well. And she actually has clients that she trains on the side as well. She has a dog walking business. She's got a couple of things. She's like a very multifaceted entrepreneur. So I just think she's very fascinating, and not to mention, we're both out here in California. So
oh, so she more of like an LA lady, or?
yes, she's in LA.
Oh, okay. Maybe we can get her in person when we're at the Fit World.
Yeah, that
We
would
could
be
or like
awesome.
you two could like train together, and then I'll record and just ask questions during or something. That'd be fun.
Yeah, she's a
What's up?
Hey,
what's
hey.
up, girl?
How's it going? Hi,
Good.
Josh.
Good to see you, Andrea.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, yes. We're just talking about you and all the many things, but I'm like, I don't want to talk too much, because I'm like, I want to let her actually talk
Cool.
about herself. So,
Hmm.
but we're happy to have you here. Thank you for taking the time to come on, and I know that you are ready for not just, you know, being here, but just ready to step back out and show the world what you have been working on.
Yes, today was a big day actually, because I mailed both contracts today. So I sent out my Vancouver Pro contract and the New York Pro.
Yes, yes.
So it's
Official.
on now.
Yes, I told Josh that is what was happening, and I'm very excited about that. So, you know,
Yeah, I'm ready. It's
yes,
on. I'm
yes,
committed.
yes.
No
So
turning back now.
yes. So, I mean, there's just so much to talk about, and you know, we'll try to get to everything that we can. But I
Yeah,
guess
for sure.
where I want to start off with is what was going on in those 2 years, about 2 years, right? You told me you've been away from the stage. So what was going on in those 2 years that you feel helped you to get to the point where you are now, and assessing the time that you took off? How do you feel it has helped to aid you in not just your physical growth, but your mental, spirit, the whole thing?
Yeah, it's been almost 2 years since my 2021 season, where I prepped myself and I didn't place as well as I would have liked to. So it definitely involved me taking a step back to analyze things. You know, we are so like in the zone when we're prepping, right? And so I definitely took it to a whole nother level. According to a Dexa scan, my body fat was at 5% before my first show of that season. So I did not place well. I was so lean and so depleted and so flat that I didn't stand a chance against these bigger, fuller women. And so I had a week in between shows. That was the Omaha Pro that you won last year. So congratulations on that, because I just want to say I am so proud of you for making your Olympia debut last year. Like, you got to be proud of yourself, because that all in itself is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
So yeah, I had a week in between the Omaha Pro in 2021, and then I went straight to Norfolk. And so all I did was like eat, and try to fill out for the next show, which, you know, I did, but that also involved me retaining a lot of water because I didn't use any diuretics. So I did come in fuller and harder, which meant I placed better. But that, you know, was a huge eye-opening moment to me where I was like, okay, conditioning is not the answer here. I'm really learning the art of bodybuilding and how to keep the muscles full and round. And I wouldn't have been able to do that without my prep coach, who I started with last year. I started my off season September 1st, right before Labor Day. And we did a 4-month bulk, and I was very successful at adding 10 pounds while staying lean. So I learned a lot, and he also learned my body as we entered prep starting January 1 of this year. This has been the best I've looked and felt out of any prep. So, you know, we think we can do it all ourselves, but when you get a really good coach and that professional eye to help you along the way, it makes a huge difference. And I've also hired an emotional coach I started working with last summer. So that was the first time I've ever worked with, most people call it a therapist, but this one in particular, she specializes in female athletes. So she has really been able to help me work on that emotional side that I've never really dived into. You know, we are so physical. Everything we do is so physical. And there's a huge imbalance, I think, specifically with athletes, but I know for a fact myself, where it's all physical and there's no emotional side of it. So now that I'm working with the emotional side of me, I almost feel like I'm working harder at the emotional side than I am the physical, because you know, we prep every year. It's like we know how to do the physical side. I don't want to say it's easy, because it's not. Not everyone can do what we do.
Right.
But I think the physical is just so repetitive. We've done prep after prep for years where it's just you're on autopilot. But this emotional work that I've been doing with McCready has really opened up doors. It's allowing me to learn more about myself. It's helping the physical aspect so much more than just having a prep coach and, you know, doing the physical work. It's really, I mean, I love being on prep. I love the journey. This is where I shine. But now that I have these feelings and emotions attached to the process, I'm even more grateful to be on this journey. So that work that I started last year has really developed into, okay, now the seeds that I planted last year with her are starting to flourish, and you know, I'm starting to manifest the work that I've been doing with her. So that's helping significantly. I think that would be like the major change, other than the fact that I've hired a prep coach to guide me along this journey, which has been a huge help.
Now, what made you, oh, sorry, Danielle, what made you, what made you decide to go with McCready or McCready?
Yeah, she was working with a lot of the top athletes in the past. I saw her work with Hele, who was also my coach for my pro debut season. I know she's worked with Alicia Young. So the fact that she was helping out these other female bodybuilders sparked the interest. And I always just followed her on Instagram, and she reached out to me in that 2021 season, but I was literally like touring. Like I said, I went from LA to Omaha, straight to Norfolk, and then I went home to Massachusetts for like a month. So she wanted to like get started on something. I was like, I am so, because you know, she's checked in with me. She was like, how do you feel about your season? How did you feel about your show? And I felt great, honestly. I felt amazing after that season. I know I didn't place well, but for me, that was the best package I have brought yet. So I felt really good about it. And so she was like, that's great. And so we didn't really start anything until, you know, Danielle, after your season's over and you're in like that maintenance mode and you're just like, you've processed, it's been months, you know, you've processed everything and you're just like not happy with where you're at, you know, because you're not on prep and you're not really in off-season mode yet, and you're just kind of like, yeah. So that's when I was like, okay, I reached out. I was like, I need to get started on something. We did. We worked for like 3 months last summer. And then I tried to keep up with the work, but it's, it's just like having a personal trainer. You need the accountability sometimes because you can easily fall off that path if you're not being held accountable to the emotional work and you're not used to doing that kind of work. I just fell into my old behaviors and my old patterns, and then I hit rock bottom, and I reached out to her again right at the beginning of this year, and I was like, I need help. So now we're like really starting to produce results with that. So it feels amazing.
I think that's very important that you talked about that, because I believe that working on your mental and your emotional well-being is more important than your physical, because if you do not have those working on all cylinders, you aren't going to produce the results that you want to see. And that's the difference, I believe, between a good show and a not good show, in my opinion. And I can say that because my mindset going into Omaha was a lot different than it was going into the Olympia. I had imposter syndrome. I've talked about it several times going into the Olympia. My mindset, right? That attitude and the defeatist attitude and all those different negative things that we sometimes can subscribe to.
Yeah.
In where that wasn't there before Omaha. You see? So going into it, regardless of how Omaha was, the fact that there was not that, it doesn't matter. How I showed up was different and my results were different.
Of course.
Right. So even though I did all the work for the Olympia, I mean, I worked really hard with Hele. Hard, but still, thank you. But
so happy for you.
But see, that's the thing, right? You can have a disconnect.
Totally.
You can have a disconnect. And I look back as I've processed certain things and I went, if I had maybe been a little bit more grounded, if I had, just checking off those boxes of things, if my vision had been a little bit, I'm not saying, right, we're shooting over the moon here, right? But
it's hard though.
It is. But that's the thing, doing the work. And I do the therapy weekly. I believe in, self-assessment checks of yourself in all of this, because especially you and I, we both know with the brands that we have and having fans too, sometimes too, we can get all the way up here and lose that sense of that groundedness that we need and that perspective, right? But that's what's the most important in all of this.
Yeah.
So to me, I think that that is the most amazing thing and the strongest thing that one can do is to look back and say, hey, I need to do the work. I need to go within. And if I need to break some stuff down a little bit, that is how I'm going to grow. And that is just like bodybuilding. It pretty much goes hand in hand. We don't grow the quality muscle that we want to grow until we break down what needs to be necessarily broken down. And that's, and to me, that's the process. One of the processes anyway.
The word you use, disconnect, is like the epitome of where I've been at, just completely disconnected from my emotions. So now that I'm still struggling to connect with them, it's not easy, but now that there's a connection there, it's like light bulb moment, like, oh, like this is why nothing in my life has ever worked out in the past, because I didn't have that emotional connection. We're firm believers of manifestation, or whatever you call it, but visualization, whatever it is, but I've done all of those practices in the past, but I never had the emotion backing it up. I never had the feelings behind it. So they never came to fruition because I didn't feel it. I didn't
have to feel it, right?
I didn't know how to feel it. I couldn't even identify my emotions. So she definitely has taken me through those steps I know it sounds very simple, but I didn't even know how to identify how I was feeling, so now, like, attaching a label to these emotions, I've grown so much so far. I'm definitely not, even close to being where I want to be, but you know, that's part of the process, right? And what I've learned is like, my passion has always been self-improvement, and bodybuilding is just a physical outlet for me to do that. You know, I've always pursued self-help books, you know, motivational speakers way before I even got into bodybuilding. So for me, bodybuilding is just like a physical outlet for me to pursue that self-improvement. But I think, you know, we're all here to grow. We're all on a journey. And what I always say is, if you're not growing, you're dying. So it's important to grow inside, outside, physically, mentally, spiritually. All of these things make a huge impact in just your overall happiness in life.
It really does. It really does. So going into this prep, what was significantly different from other preps? One thing that you can highlight that you could
For sure. Physically, carb cycling. I've never carb cycled on a prep before. So that has physically worked wonders for me and my body. More on an emotional level, what Kay has taught me is that I need to just compete for me, and I do. I no longer have that. I mean, of course, everybody wants to win, right? But that's not why I'm doing. I don't do it to win anymore. I don't do it to go to the Olympia. Like, I'm doing this for me because I ain't getting any younger and life is too short. So I'm going to do what I want to do, what I'm passionate about doing, which is being the best bodybuilder I can be. So what I've truly learned is to just do this for me, not to please the judges, not to please anyone else. I'm just going to show up and do me because that's what makes me happy. So that's also been a full, you know, physical transformation for me. It's the emotional and the physical side, where when you change those feelings and it's not all about winning, the perspective changes, your feelings change, your emotions change, the motivation changes. So there's that part of it too.
To me, that's a healthy approach, and I'm sure anybody that's watching, you know, with the BNN fam would say, you know, wow, that's a very good perspective to have, because you know, we're so used to kind of hearing a different narrative, right? And so for you to be, you know, a professional athlete and being so connected to your whys, right? Your multiple whys of showing up in this space, and it being your whys, what you want, not what anyone else says, not what anyone else is doing. And again, in these days and times, we've had conversations personally about it. You know, people go the way that they see other people going. And for me, and I know just based off of knowing you and exactly what you just said, if you do that, then you've already lost, because, you know, you're not always going to please everybody 100% of the time. You may give your all. You may look the best, right, you've ever looked, and you show up and they don't even, but
Didn't even get acknowledged.
right.
But I was so happy and pleased with my conditioning and how I looked that it didn't matter.
Right.
You know, and of course we all want to get to the Olympia stage, right? Like, of course, that's the dream, right? We wouldn't, you know, be doing this without that goal in mind. But, you know, maybe I'll get there someday. You know, maybe I'll get there this year. That would be amazing. That would be a huge blessing. But, you know, that's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I love being a bodybuilder. And this is just my way to showcase my talents and my skills and how much I've grown. And bodybuilding has provided me with so many opportunities that it's like, why not compete? You know, why not do this? Because you know, in order to grow, we have to really diet down and get shredded and ripped so that we can hit that rebound and really start to build muscle again. You can't stay in bulk mode forever. So if it wasn't for leaning out, getting into single digit body fat, I would never be able to continue to grow my physique and build upon that, because your body just soaks up nutrients like a sponge. And once you get back into heavy lifting and training, you know, that's where the growth happens. People think like, oh, you know, I'm going to eat all this food and train really hard. And it's like your body hits a plateau eventually, and you're just going to start to get fat. So the dieting aspect is really necessary, whether you compete or not. So that's why I say, just like do a show, because that's going to motivate you to diet down and get your body fat as low as possible. Then you can hit that rebound and really start to grow muscle and transform your physique and set yourself up for the next round of whatever it is that you want to do.
Right. That's very important. And speaking of opportunities, do you mind, you know, sharing some of the many things that you also do in the capacity of fitness and bodybuilding?
Yeah, so one thing that I love about being in the pro circuit is the opportunity to travel, because I would never go. Like Omaha was cool, right? Like I thought Omaha was like this cute little city. It
It had really good food.
yeah, and you know, I would never go to Omaha, Nebraska for vacation,
Right,
you know,
right.
and same with Norfolk. It was beautiful right on the water. It was like amazing. So I love the traveling aspect. You know, this is going to be my first international show in Canada, so I'm just proud to be able to do that. That's one opportunity that I love about competing on a pro level. And then, you know, another part is like, I have fans worldwide. Like, that's amazing. The fact that I'm known all over the world is
You are a
like,
pretty big deal.
who would have thought like this girl from a small town would ever make an impact in the bodybuilding industry, doing what I love to do and making money doing it. Like, that's the best part. You know, a lot of women don't capitalize on the business aspect of it. But if you want to continue doing what you love, then why not make money doing it? Because what I've found from horrible traumatic experiences of working for a stressful corporate job, you know, being unable to compete because I was too busy working full-time and part-time to dedicate 100% of my energy into getting on that pro stage. You realize I took 4 years off after turning pro. I didn't compete for 4 years after that. So that was a huge setback for me. And then when I realized that I could make money doing what I love after I left my full-time job, it was like, you know, eye-opening. I had no idea that I could actually make a living, do what I love. And that's what I tell people now, is because so many people hate their jobs and they hate what they do and they're miserable. And I always tell them, just do what you love, because the money will follow. The money will come once you get into your calling and you stay on that path. The money will come, trust me. You just have to take that risk and really follow your dreams and dedicate yourself to that business, because you will make money. The money will come, just like planting the seeds. It will grow and you will flourish in that position, whatever it may be.
And that's very, very important, to, yes, do what you love. And this sport is not cheap. So it is important that we are doing things that allow us to support ourselves as athletes. And to me, it makes perfect sense what you're saying, because I have gone the similar route, and I wouldn't have been able to become a pro athlete, let alone win a pro show, let alone go to the Olympia, work in a 45-hour full-time job. I just would not have been able to do that. And being able to monetize my muscle in the way that I've been able to has allowed me the time freedom to focus on my physique as much as I've been able to.
Good for you.
So, yeah, so I agree with you that if you can, why not do? And because if not you, then who? Yeah, out here, it's not as though our industry has gotten to that point yet where there are those avenues of income for us as professional athletes. We are pioneers. We are, because we have to do both. We have to compete and we have to create our own from like the ground up.
Yeah, and that's where the true entrepreneurs will succeed. And, you know, I think all of us have that entrepreneurial spirit, but they're just, at least I was just comfortable with my benefits and a paycheck, you know, and until I stepped out of my comfort zone and really got into the feats of strength niche. And I just posted something on my Instagram about this today. If you're not following me, follow me at @RipVixen_IFBB Pro, about how, like, I've modeled, you know, as a fitness model for over a decade, but it wasn't until I met this photographer who really taught me about the feats of strength niche. I didn't really start making money until that. And, you know, I was completely clothed, like doing bar bending stunts and breaking boards and, you know, tearing off shirts and doing mixed arm wrestling clips. And all of a sudden my followers started to increase. I started making money selling these clips that I do out of the 3 stores that I upload them to. And it just kind of took off from there. And now, you know, I always shoot year round, whether I'm in full blown like bulk mode or when I'm lean and shredded. And I think the fans really appreciate that transformation, because you have your diehard fans that love the big thickness look, right? But then you also have the ones that absolutely love when you're dialed in, you're shredded.
They'll only look at you if you're ripped.
What's that?
I said they'll only look at us if we're ripped.
Some of them prefer, you know, the really big,
Yes.
as big as you
Yes.
can get look.
Yes.
But I mean, I think they're both appreciated, especially by the true muscle fans. I think they love to see both. And I know they appreciate to watch the transformation. At least they do on my OnlyFans. They're very honest about following my journey on OnlyFans, because they have seen me go from the peak of my off season at 180 pounds to now I'm about 165, you know. So, you know, I've lost 15 pounds over a course of 8 weeks. And every week they get to see my progress pictures and my updates, and they get to see my body transform over this time. So I think there, just in that simple act, there's so much money to be made just by doing what we love to do. You know, you don't have to take your clothes off. I didn't at first. I was making decent money doing something that I love to do. But, you know, I've always been into the adult modeling side of this sport, because there is a huge muscle fetish aspect to it. So I work very hard on my body. I don't think there's anything wrong with the naked body. I think it should be worshipped and appreciated as much as possible. So I'm going to, you know, do what I want because it's my life. And if that's what I enjoy doing because it makes me feel empowered, then why not?
Yeah. And again, if you're, you know, monetizing and being able to provide for yourself so that you can do what you love, to me, that's a win-win. And, you know, again, like I said, and I say it again, I just feel as though what we do is, you know, it's just pioneering another way. And it's not like it hasn't been done for decades before we were even around.
Right.
I think that now the modern day muscular woman, we've been able to make it more, to me, more business-like. And of course, there are more platforms now that enable us to do so. So it's a business, and whether people want to acknowledge it or not, to me, it's something to be said if you're able to not only create your body to be competitive, but then to be able to, again, leverage that to do so much more. And that right there, to me, is more admirable than if you win a show. I'm saying that with, and I've won a show. I'm saying that having won a
Yeah.
show.
So that's
Because
like,
I know what it takes to build that fan base and
Right.
sustain a fan base, all
Yeah.
while working on your body.
yeah, if it wasn't for you, I probably would have never went back on webcam. So I had started it, webcam modeling back in like 2010 and did not do well. But again, I was selling a different product. I was much, much smaller, obviously. I did not have the amount of muscle that I have now. So I'm selling a completely different product now. And if it wasn't for you reaching out to me and telling me like, girl, this is how much money I make on webcam, and I was like blown away by it, I probably would have never went back on webcam and performed for these fans all over the world, which again, it was a huge confidence builder. You realize I was going to a job every day that I hated. I was harassed, I was abused, I was misgendered on a daily basis by customers. And so my confidence was in the tank. My confidence levels dropped so low that I never even expected to step foot on a pro stage. I was in such a bad mental space from being harassed in my workplace for 4 years that I would have never had the confidence to step on a pro stage, never. But until I got into the modeling, doing these feats of strength clips, like I've been bars, dude. I've been like steel bars, and I break boards.
Yeah, I've seen you in action. She doesn't play.
And I fold frying pans. Like, to be that strong, to be able to do this was like mind-blowing, one. And two, the confidence that I got from performing live on webcam, flexing, and these fans eating it up was a huge confidence builder for me. I would have never been able to step on stage my first pro show without the feedback I was getting specifically from fans on webcam, because again, it was like a whole empowering movement where they loved the way I looked. I went from working at a job where people harassed me and made fun of me for the way I looked and the lifestyle that I choose, because I choose this bodybuilding lifestyle. And I got harassed by employees, my superiors, customers misgendered me on a daily basis. So you realize I was being, just beaten down by all these verbal comments on a daily and weekly, monthly, yearly basis. And then I go into this other world where I am worshipped for looking the way I do. I am getting paid to look like this and do what I love. I was like, why didn't I do this sooner? It was such a switch for me mentally to receive such great feedback from strangers and from people all over the world that just loved my physique. They loved my muscles. To me, that was like the biggest transformation mentally and emotionally for me at that time.
And that's so a powerful statement, highlighting the importance of the fans empowering us to also be the best version of ourselves, and that they are the driving force. They really are.
I say all the time, like, there would be no Rip Vixen if I didn't have fans to perform for or make these clips for. I wouldn't exist.
And I wouldn't be who is talking to you guys here had I not gone the journey that I went. And
Cool.
it's just important to now highlight the things that we do in order to keep our trains moving, because we're modern day business women, and it is 2023, and now more than ever, people are being fed up with their jobs. People are, not happy in the workplace, people taking mental health days, people quitting jobs and doing all these things and starting their own, fan pages and of course the social media boom and all of that. So
So many
again,
opportunities out there.
right. So what we do, though it may be so niche specific, it's not so far-fetched outside the box of what the modern millennial Gen Z, is doing now, because you have to be creative, you have to be able to reinvent yourself, and gone are the days where you can thrive just climbing yourself up a corporate ladder to nowhere. So it's just, to me, I love talking to other women like myself that, no matter if you choose to do this or not do this, just the entrepreneurial spirit and attitude of doing what you love and being able to build nothing into something and making it your own, because you don't want to work for someone else, you don't want to serve someone else's vision, you want to be able to have your own.
Absolutely.
So with that in mind, vision wise, we're into 2023, you have the contracts in, so what is your outlook going into these 2 shows? I know you said winning's not, not everything to you, but specifically, what are you looking to get out of the Vancouver Island show for yourself and for the New York Pro?
Yeah, another big switch. This is the first time I've hired a professional choreographer, Sheila Bleck, to help me with a posing routine.
Yes, Sheila Bleck is a legendary bodybuilder. I'm sure everyone who's watching, we all know who Sheila Bleck is. So it's amazing that you are going to be posing with her.
She
You're
has
posing with her.
always been my favorite poser on stage. And so I reached out to her last year and she was like, when you get your song, hit me back. And I was like, okay. And then on Christmas, I found my song. And so we started again early this year working on the posing routine. And just that in itself has also given me so much confidence to perform on stage. You realize, like, I'm now when I was, because we've worked together for 5 weeks already. We already got the routine. It's done. Now I'm just practicing it, and she's going to be drilling me every week until the show. But when I watched myself, because we film it just like you guys are filming this Zoom call, and she sends me the tapes, and the first time I saw myself posing in this professional routine, I started crying tears of joy because I could not believe that was me. And it blew me away. I still cry tears of joy when I'm visualizing my performance or feeling how happy I am performing this professional routine. It looks so good, and it's 10 times better than anything that I could have done myself, which I always used to do myself. I've always just choreographed and, put my own posing routine to music. But again, that is so amateurish compared to like this professional routine that she has helped me put together. It has boosted my confidence so much on all levels, even the prejudging. Like, it doesn't just apply to the finals, because now I'm posing differently in the morning routine and in the mandatories. All of that has affected my overall performance. So man, she is amazing at what she does. She is so good at translating movement to music, and it has literally transformed how I perform and how I compete now. So you asked like how I want to go, like that's already a win for me. The fact that I can walk on stage with this kind of confidence that I have because of the team that has backed me up and helped me realize the potential that I do have, which I've always known that it's there. I just had a hard time pulling it out. I could never get it out on stage. I had so many things holding me back. I had performance anxiety that was crippling. In my amateur days, I had to hire a hypnotherapist just to help me get over that performance anxiety. So the fact that I've come this far and knowing now that I can step on stage gracefully with the confidence to back it up, like knowing how good I am, it is a world. It's like no show can compare to how I feel going into the season.
That's amazing.
Even my pro debut, I placed in the top 5, and I was thrilled for my first pro show after a 4-year hiatus. to get a trophy. I was crying tears of joy walking off that stage that day in Savannah. But even still, you know, going into the season still blows that show, and that's my pro debut out of the water. I'm so excited to perform, and I know you're a huge performing artist and you are an amazing choreographer. So I know how you share this same feeling of being able to perform your art and make people feel emotions just through your movement. Like, that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited to control the audience and really have the judges' attention because my routine is so good.
And that is an awesome feeling, knowing you're
Yeah.
holding a nice deck of cards going in
Yeah.
to the show, and especially after being, you know, gone for so long. And posing is, I was talking about it before you got on. It is to me, the most important thing that we can do as athletes and bodybuilders.
Yeah.
Posing can make or break your physique. And as women bodybuilders specifically, you know, historically, that's what we're supposed to do when we get on stage. We're supposed to command the audience. We're supposed to have a presence about us and not
Yeah.
just stand on stage and just kind of going through the motions of, okay, here's this next pose, looking like robots. That, to me, that's, I've seen so many physiques do that, and I'm like, oh, if only they had, you know, been able to take a little more time, it, you know, would have been a better result. So
It
I'm
makes a huge
excited.
difference.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see your routine. I am a huge you know, I can say fan of Sheila, because I believe that she's one of the best in her generation. The lines, the technique, and the precision, and all of that.
She's amazing.
Yeah, and it is, to me, important as an artist that you do treat the posing and the presentation like art.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, girl. If you get the stream for New York and you'll see my performance.
Yes, we will definitely definitely make sure we tune in. So there is a live stream that we can check out, correct?
Hell yeah. If you
Okay.
Yeah, for New York, yeah.
NewYork-pro.com, you'll get all the info.
Okay, but Vancouver Island Showdown. Okay.
Nope. Not
Okay.
yet. I'm so proud of Corey, though. He's the promoter of Vancouver. I mean, this is only his second year doing it, but I mean, he's invested so much time and energy into making this the best show possible that I'm just excited to go there and compete on the stage, because man, he's young, so he's got that passion, and he's just like killing it on social media, trying to, you know, get as many as the amateurs to come out and compete as well. And he's providing everyone with so much information. He's been super helpful with any questions that I may have. You know, he's been very responsive, and it's just so cool to be able to talk to him like that. You know, sometimes I feel a little intimidated by the judges or the promoters, you know, and I don't know really how to talk to them. And so I don't know if it's the fact that Corey is younger, or I don't know. He's killing it when it comes to having like an open house, just getting everyone to come to the show and compete. So I'm just thrilled to be on that stage.
And that's awesome, because, you know, this year we don't have as many shows, so women's bodybuilding specifically, and so it's very cool that you're capitalizing. You're like, I'm taking advantage.
Hell yeah.
I'm going to show up twice. And
hell yeah.
And what, two more things before we do let you go. What are your thoughts on the fact that there are a few less shows for women's bodybuilders specifically?
I mean, we've always struggled in this arena. You know, it is up to the promoters to put whatever categories they want in the show. And that's why I'm very grateful for people like Corey, because he only has women's bodybuilding, women's physique, which is also slightly neglected, and women's wellness. Those are the only three pro divisions competing in Vancouver. So he's really putting the spotlight on us women, which I think is amazing. I did an interview with Female Bodybuilding Channel recently, and I stated this in that interview because we need to have a poll. When people are buying these live streams, if there was a questionnaire or just a simple poll question, like what division are you buying this for? You know, or why are you buying this stream? Is it to see men's bodybuilding? Is it to see women's wellness? Let's get some analytical data to see how many fans all over the world are paying to watch us, because I guarantee you there's more fans out there than these promoters think that are coming just to watch us. I guarantee it. But we have no data. Like, let's get a poll when they purchase the stream. Let's see how many people are buying it to see female bodybuilders, so that maybe more promoters will add us to that show, because it's a business at the end of the day, right? It's a business. We all understand that. But I think we're a little underestimated when it comes to our fans. We have so many amazing fans all over the world that want to see us. They love to see us compete. Like, they thrive on it. And, you know, those are the ones that are paying money to watch these streams. And so if we had more analytical data, I think more promoters would add us to their show. I mean, they're already having shows, right? They're already having pro shows. Just throw us in the lineup, you know? And I'm grateful for the ones that do, but we shouldn't put all the pressure on those few shows that we do have. You know, I feel like we should be putting pressure on the other shows to put us in there, like, add us. And I guarantee you your sales will increase. So if we look at it more from a business aspect, let's get some real data that can prove we deserve to be on that stage with the other pro athletes.
Yeah, that's a pretty good, I think that's a good call for you know, for others to do. I've never heard anyone say that before. And as a bodybuilder who does have fans, and know, again, like I said, the fans are the driving force for us. You know, it would be a good tell if there was some kind of quantitative data put together showing who's buying and who they're buying it for, because we do have a lot of diehards out there that don't care about any other divisions at all. The bigger the better. They like, we're it for them. So
Absolutely.
I
extend that to the in-show person. You know, you can even extend that to people buying tickets in person.
Correct, because we have
traveling
fans at our shows. I remember when I went to the Arnold, I wasn't even competing, and I had about like a couple of people come up to me in my comings and goings, you know, walking to and from my room to the convention center, and a couple
That's
looking at me
awesome.
and waving, and two came, you know, hi, are you, you know, and I'm getting, you know, so it's not, it's definitely, they're definitely there. They're definitely there. They're definitely buying and supporting. And a lot of them are saying there's not enough. If we had more for you, we'll show up to it. We'll buy it. We'll do it.
Yeah. And that's the thing about our fans. They are great because they love all the female bodybuilders on the stage. Like, they're coming to the show to watch all the female bodybuilders. Yeah, they may have a few favorites, but they love female bodybuilders. So they are going to the show to watch all of us, or they are streaming the show to watch the outcome of that show in our division. So, you know, there's way more money out there to be made for all of us, because if we get more shows and the promoters are making more money for having us, then we might get paid more for this prize money too. So again, everybody will benefit from this if we just figure out a system where we can really get some realistic, real-time data on who's paying for these shows and who are they paying to see.
Josh, you were going to say something? No.
I think I forgot. Oh, no. Oh, so what I was wondering, thank you, Danielle. What I was thinking, kind of like feeding off of, or piggybacking, as we used to say in the military, off of what Andrea was saying, I'm wondering, muscle and strength is the biggest one of the biggest advocates for women bodybuilding. I'm wondering what they're doing or what they possibly could do to help subsidize some of the funding requirements to bring women's bodybuilding to more shows, specifically California.
Thank you.
You know, I'm not like telling them, hey, you need to put money on things, but you know, they are like that premier supporter. So, you know, what are they doing, or what could they do, you know?
And thank you for your service, Josh. Thank you for your military service. I
Sure.
always appreciate that. Thank you so much for serving our beautiful country.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, and I want to piggyback as well. California, we should have more out here.
For us.
I know.
Seriously.
In
There
fact,
it is.
the Vancouver show is the only West Coast show. That's why I'm like, 3-hour flight up north, I'm there, because every show I'm flying West Coast to East Coast, every single show, because the majority of the shows are on the East Coast, which is
Yes.
great. But can we get a few more options for the West Coast athletes? Because you know, traveling is a huge
Does Legion
challenge.
not have women's bodybuilding?
No.
Really?
Which one?
Legion.
Legions.
No.
They have usually like fitness, like, because fitness is another one of those divisions that really
I don't
hurts.
think they ever had women's bodybuilding. I've never seen it.
Me
Oh,
neither. But yeah, there's, to me, and that is one of my goals. I want to see a show. Multiple would be great, but I want to start seeing women's bodybuilding out here on the West Coast, you know. So I'm like, we should start like a like a coalition. I
That
mean,
would be amazing.
of
And
female bodybuilders on the West Coast, so, you know, especially SoCal. I mean, like,
just keep
there's
talking
like,
about it.
yeah, that's
I
why I'm
mean,
putting it out there. I'm putting it out there now. Like,
let's
you know,
do it. This is supposed to be, you know, the bodybuilding mecca, and there are so many shows out here. I mean, that's why
So
I
many.
moved out here from Massachusetts. I came out here with nothing but a dream to be a professional bodybuilder, you know, and there are so many amateur shows out here, and sometimes they'll just sprinkle in like one men's division. You know, I've been to amateur shows where just the male pro bodybuilders are competing. That's like the highlight of the amateur show, or the men's 212 pro division is competing at these amateur shows. You know, just sprinkle a few more pro divisions in these big time amateur SoCal shows, and man, ticket sales are gonna go up. Trust me, if all these people are going to see the amateurs, they're gonna really appreciate watching pros compete too.
yes, exactly. So, well, I'm really happy that we had this time to sit down and talk with you. And is there anything that you want to say to your fans, people that are watching you specifically? Because I know that we're gonna have folks that are just tuning in just to see your episode.
Follow your dreams. Please don't give up on your dreams, because it is possible. If you believe in yourself and you set up a dedicated system that you follow and are consistent on, anything is possible. Trust me. Like I was saying, I came out here with nothing. I didn't have a job. I didn't have a home. I was homeless when I moved to California. I didn't have a place to live. I didn't have a place to work. I didn't even have a freaking vehicle, okay? All I had was some stuff and my dog, and I was determined to come out here because everybody knows about like Gold's Venice, where you train. You know, everybody knows like SoCal is the mecca of bodybuilding, especially being an East Coaster from a small town in Massachusetts. Like, this was my dream, and I was determined to do it no matter what. And I was only 25 years young, so I may have been a little naive because I had never been to LA before. But man, if I can be where I'm currently at, coming from nothing, you can do whatever it is that you are passionate about. You just have to stay consistent and take that risk and go for it, because all I ever wanted to be was a pro athlete, and now I'm competing as a professional bodybuilder, and it's like, that's icing on the cake. Like, now I'm actually doing what I set out to do, and I love it. And you will feel the same way if you just stick to your goals. Don't let people talk you out of it. You know, I had to move away 3,000 miles away from my family because they just were not supportive of me being a bodybuilder. And I knew I could never accomplish what I needed to do out there. And I came out here with nothing. And I'm living proof, like you can still, even I almost gave up, you know, after I turned pro. I never thought I would even compete as a pro. And I think that's why it's so special to me to compete now as a pro, because I never thought I would do it. I never thought it'd be possible. So it brings me so much joy just to be able to do it. Just like I'm sure you were just thrilled to be on that Olympia stage, because it's like something that you've always dreamed of, and maybe you never thought it would happen, or maybe you thought it would happen 10 years from now, but it happens. And there you were. And it's like you can manifest anything you want if you work hard enough and you stay consistent. Please don't give up on your dreams. You can do anything you want. Follow your passion, because the money will come. Stick to what you love doing. The money will flow into your life abundantly.
Yes, abundance, abundance, abundance. That is a beautiful word. And we here at BNN are wishing you nothing but abundance this year, Andrea,
Yes.
as you embark upon your competition season. So I, again, am so grateful and thankful for our friendship, and just for you coming on here and just being so real and candid and just sharing.
Thanks
So,
for having me. Thank you, Josh, for setting up this platform for us. I really appreciate being here.
Of course.
I'm
My
so
pleasure.
blessed to be on your show. Thank you for everything.
Sure.
yes, you're very welcome. Well, yeah, that's it for us here at BNN with IFBB Pro, Ripped Vixen, Andrea Sawyer. And until next time, let's all be more mindful to look after ourselves and be good to one another. So
Stay blessed, friends. Stay healthy.
Yeah.
yes.
Feed the algorithm overlord in the comment section below. Help promote the video, help share it with like-minded friends, help the channel grow. And then also let us know down below if you would like to see Andrea come back on in the near future to recap the Vancouver Island Showdown.
It'd be my pleasure. Like and subscribe to this channel. Make sure you like this episode.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Please, please like and subscribe. And please, like Josh says, comment. We love the comments, and they help us to make this show better for you.
Yep.
Let's do it.
Yep. From myself and IFBB Pro Danielle Willis and our guest today, Andrea Sawyer. Thank you so much for watching another installment here on the Bodybuilding News Network. Like we said, probably for the fourth time, like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate you as always. And that'll do it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Take care.